Right, after manufacturing process has been complete, we then go through a testing procedure which has been put in by Trelleborg. It's called a test record sheet, and what this does then is we test the motor starter enclosure, or commonly known as the DOL. We also test the capstan for operation and for duty cycle. All right. So each of these capstans are designed for client specifications depending on what voltage and what supply control voltage that they are asking for. Now what we do is we go through a number of processes in testing the capstan and the motor starter enclosure. What we do is what we call a passive test to make sure it's all electrically sound, and that means that nobody will get electrocuted. All right, then after the passive test has been complete, we fill out the form which has been supplied to us by Trelleborg, and then we start doing an active test. And during the active test, we're then looking at the supply voltage being supplied to the capstan motor, and also for the correct operation to make sure it's not going to trip anything out, make sure it's electrically okay and safe to use, and it's then being applied for what the customer requires. So what we do is we just go through a number of checks, checking it with the voltage supply, the no load current, and then we go through an operational check and make sure it's operating for what it's designed for. What we do is we go through a number of tests here. What we're doing is we're checking the directional switch and the e-stop. The e-stop is very important during operation, especially on jetty operation. We can use counterclockwise, which is counterclockwise direction, or anti-clockwise. We can use clockwise direction. The RPMs are then stipulated to us by the client on what their requirements are. Also the e-stop operation, once again, is very important. If somebody's using this equipment on the jetty and a hand gets caught, somebody can then hit the e-stop, and then that person then can be freed. It's very important that we make sure we also comply to a coloured standard within the motor starter enclosure. Depending on which part of the country it's going to, or which part of the world, then that's determined by us which colour, why colours that we are determined to use. And further on around here, we then also go into what we call the remote release enclosures. These are designed to house an actuator motor, which is an electromechanical operational device, and these then control the release mechanisms on the hooks for local and also for remote release operation. Once again, we have paperwork supplied to us by Trelleborg, which then proves that the operation has been checked and operates to a standard before it's sent out of the factory. We also have what we call a smart hook enclosure. These devices house the load cell Smart Hook 3 monitoring board. So each load cell device plugs into this enclosure, then that transmits a communication signal from here. So from the load cell to the Smart Hook 3 board, and that goes then onto the console and then through to the load monitoring display that you saw before. Once again, all this equipment is tested thoroughly before it's released out of the factory to reduce commissioning time and also to meet clients' specifications and also to uphold our professionalism.